What if the person you built your entire life around was hiding a double life, and you only discovered the full truth after losing everything? Would you still be able to trust anyone again? I just went through my first year officially divorced, and after gaining full custody of our 5 children, I finally learned the complete truth during our custody fight. A little background as it is relevant. I, 36-year-old male, met my ex-wife, 35-year-old female, back in 2007 in our high school history class. During the first week of class, she hit me in the face with a hand lotion tube while trying to pass it to the girl next to me from across the room. I hated her during high school because she never apologized. Then, in college in 2009, we met again in an English class, English as a second language, with only 3 students. During the class, she invited me to sit next to her to help her with homework. We started dating in 2010 after I made sure she ended her relationship with a car mechanic, whom she suspected was being inappropriate with her mother. Before I even considered dating her, she was my first girlfriend, and it was very emotional for me as I was saving myself. However, weeks later, we found out she had passed me a sexually transmitted infection, chlamydia. I was inexperienced and had no symptoms. We found out after she started complaining, which I believed was normal for a new couple of teenagers that was being intimate up to 3 times a day. In 2011, I started a career in information technology in a local clinic and became a very close friend with the vice president of human resources and the hiring manager. This allowed me to help her get a job in the clinic and help her move quickly from receptionist to assistant clinic manager. During this time, I gifted her a cell phone under my cell plan. During one of our dates, she cracked the screen. I offered to repair it without worrying, and while I was repairing the phone, I found out that she was texting and flirting with a man, as she received notifications. When confronted, she excused herself, saying that she believed it was me trying to test her loyalty by impersonating a different phone number. I did not believe her and started distancing myself. When she noticed my distance, she asked for 1-month break, which I immediately agreed to. But 1 week after the break, she showed up to my room crying and begging to get back together, and to my surprise, I agreed. And we continued to a normal relationship. This is important later. In 2013, she told me that she was pregnant, and after getting the news, something in me was triggered. I decided to do things right, to be a good partner, to be a good father, and to be a good human being. I traded my brand new R1 motorcycle and got a new Maxima so we could go to her checkups comfortably. I got a brand new house 3 months before our first daughter was born in May 2014 and furnished it to her liking. She asked me to be a stay-at-home mother, and life was amazing for me. Although when we shared the news with her mother, she told my ex-wife that she had just ruined my life. Her father and my parents took the news in a very positive way. Even with the bad reception of the great news, I felt on top of the world with my newborn baby and my Florecita, little flower. Then we got married in 2015 as I wanted to do things right. Not in the right order, but trying to do things right. Late in 2015, we started planning for another child as we thought it would be great for our newborn to have someone to play with. Late in the year, we found out that she was pregnant again. I was in heaven as I had just opened a consulting business, and now we were expecting another baby. On her first checkup, she found out that we were expecting twins, but when she went to share the news to my work office, she was uncontrollable and crying. My coworkers later told me that maybe it was because she was nervous, and they asked me to comfort her as much as possible. The twin girls were born in 2016, and their health was not very good. After going through this challenge by her side, I became Christian and felt more connected to my ex-wife than ever, as we were able to successfully overcome this hardship by relying on each other. I learned to love her to a deeper level, with her flaws and everything. I learned to love her as a human being, not just as my wife. Every day on my way to work, I would feel the sunshine on my face and be absolutely grateful to God for the life He had given me, for the partner that was by my side, and of course for my beautiful girls that by a miracle became healthy very fast. Life was good until 2018 when my ex-wife started becoming more irritable for no reason, so I decided to invest myself even more. I tried to be more considerate of her emotions and for being a mother of 3 young and very active girls. I started hiring a cleaning lady to help her in the house as I was already driving home sometimes during lunch to make her breakfast, throw some laundry in the washer, and play with my babies in the living room. During the weekends, I would do all the cleaning. Late in 2019, I suggested that we try psychological therapy. as I knew that she came from a dysfunctional family and understood that she could have been dealing with postpartum trauma, resentment, and childhood trauma. This is what saved me later. This gave me the truth that I am talking about in the title. Then in 2020, the pandemic hit us and she started experiencing more problems. We went 9 months without intimacy, and I just gave her space as I saw she was not taking the lockdown well. At least everything else was good as I was considered a first responder, so I continued working and my side business grew, supplementing my income very well. After 9 months of nothing while sleeping next to her, I was craving her presence, her aroma, her closeness, and I believe she felt guilty as I only voiced my needs once during those 9 months. So the night the Mandalorian season finale aired, we finally were back together. I remember because she cuddled with me while I was watching it in the living room, and one thing led to another. Ironically, she got pregnant again by that single time together as there was no intimacy later. This pregnancy was also tough because after 4 months, she had to have absolute rest. However, my mother and sisters were there to take care of her while I was at work. Another set of twins, but now I got my boy finally and my lovely little girl. After the delivery, she came back to normal pretty fast. And now she was taking medication prescribed by her psychiatrist. But now it was a very different normal. She started having more pronounced mood swings and now would start yelling at all the children, even the newborns. In April 2022, I came home and I found her crying on the bed. When I asked her the reason, she confessed the most horrific thing that could ever come out of her mouth. She told me that for some time she had been thinking and seeing herself ending the lives of our children with a butcher knife, then bathing in their blood, and finally ending her own life. My first reaction was to tell her that she was not going to end anybody's life, that I was there to help her, but that we needed help together. I contacted our pastor and he spoke to her and was constantly visiting our house or sending church sisters to aid in the house and help her pray to deal with those harmful thoughts. However, as time went on, she started becoming a different person. She started exercising more, dressing up more, getting fake nails, and going out with her sister and girlfriends. On May 19, 2023, she told me that she was going to get her nails done at her sister-in-law's house at 9 p.m. I did not think much of the request, so I gave her the keys of the sports car. But it worried me because she never drives at night. 30 minutes after she left, I called her to check and my call went directly to voicemail. I called 3 more times and it was the same thing. I started getting worried thinking that she had an accident, so I checked the car's GPS location and status. It was parked in the Civic Center Park. I texted her asking why the car was at the park at that time of night when I had more than 20,000 worth of network tools in the trunk. When she started typing, I called her. She picked up, and I could hear that she was in a muscle car by the loud exhaust like a Mustang or a Charger. She just told me that she was on her way to her sister-in-law's house, but was just hanging out with her friend Jessica. The next day, she told me that she was just smoking marijuana while driving around the city, but it raised all my alarms. I just told her that if she was being unfaithful, I would let her go without a fight. Just let me know, as I do not want another sexually transmitted infection in my life. On June 2, 2023, out of nowhere she approached me to tell me that she was applying for a job and that she wanted a divorce or a break. I did not take it well, and it was the first time in my life that I cried. I could not process her request, but all the red flags hit me like a truck. Everything made sense now and I was having a hard time processing her request. At the end, and after about 2 to 3 hours of me crying in our bedroom, I told her that I could only give her 1 month break but no more. I only lasted 1 day out of home as I could not endure not giving my kids a good morning kiss, being welcomed from work by them, and tucking them in bed every night. From that day, I started overcompensating for everything. I got her a week-long cruise to try to re-spark our marriage, shopping sprees for her clothing, makeup, and shoes, tickets for a concert in San Diego for her, her sister, and her sister-in-law, including a nice hotel stay. During this week, I felt that I was extinguishing myself as I tried to win her back. Then on June 9, 2023, before the night of her concert, I asked her if she had all the cards in her cell phone, Apple Pay, in case she needed them. She handed me her phone and I updated everything. Something made no sense because she did not have Messenger installed, but a couple of hours earlier she had sent me a grocery list. I decided to install it and suddenly I found her talking to about 5 men. She was sitting next to me the whole time, so I started checking everything I could, and I found her talking badly about me, how she desired some men. But the highlight was when I found out that she had been sending pictures of our 4 girls, 9, 7, 7, 1.5 years, and old, and little boy, 1.5 years old, with GPS coordinates of our house to a man in Pakistan. She was exposing our children to a possible predator across the world. I just took my phone and started taking pictures of her phone. But when she saw me, she snatched her phone and went running to our bedroom, locking herself there. She deleted everything, but I had a few pictures. Everything switched for me. I was no longer looking for her approval. I was angry. I felt sorry for her. I still had a little hope that somehow she was manipulated and it was just a mistake. This mindset only lasted from June 9th until Father's Day on June 19, 2023, when after dinner she told me out of her own mouth that there was another man, that he had always been there since we started dating, that she was never happy by my side, that she maintained communication with him, especially after every pregnancy, that she was ready to go with him because he had just finished his college education. Something in me broke. I remember actually feeling physical pain in my chest. From one second to another, all my good feelings for her were dead. I just wanted nothing to do with her. I did not want to be related to her in any way or form. She stopped being Mama Bear. She stopped being my Florecita. She was just another woman that deserved nothing more from me. That night I started sleeping in my little boy's bedroom. No more asking her, no more waiting for her, and especially no more intimacy with her. I came to this conclusion after a kind of cold resolve filled my chest. I will protect my kids at all costs, and I will not make any mistake. I will not give her anything she can use against me. That was my motto. She filed for divorce on August 1st, and I got served on August 3rd. After she filed, she became more open. She would leave on Friday afternoon and come back on Sunday afternoon. She would demand money to put fuel in her minivan, to get her nails done, money for her belly dance classes, and money to keep paying the cleaning lady. I decided to keep the situation as it was but no longer fund her lifestyle, so I told her to get a job. I became methodical, calculating, and cautious. I did not leave the house, although she would demand that I leave almost every day. I finally got my divorce decree in May 2024 after 4 hearings where we both represented ourselves, and she dragged everything out in attempts to keep the house, keep the sports car and the minivan, and leave me in the streets taking money from me while only allowing me to see my children every other weekend. On March 28th, after our last hearing, she decided to go on a week-long vacation to Mexico with her partner. I used this week to take everything that was mine and settle with my children at my parents' home. I got 50-50 custody, 1 week, her and 1 week me, $132 child support, and $900 alimony for 32 months. I sold the sports car and my 2-seater daily driver to get a new Tahoe and transport my kids properly because she told the judge that she wanted the minivan to transport the kids in the sports car for the weekends when she did not have the kids. I also got court-ordered DNA testing for all my kids, given that she kept in touch with her partner throughout the whole relationship. They are all mine, thank God. The arrangement of 50-50 week-on, week-off went well until August 4th, when, by text message, she told me that she would not hand out the kids to me anymore. She changed their school and did not share where they were located. I could not see my kids for more than 2 months, and when I texted my older girls, they would tell me that they missed me, and sometimes would tell me that they were scared of me. It was the ex impersonating my kids. Every week I would file a police report for failure to follow court orders. I would not react to her taunts until October 4th, when I secured a family attorney, not just any attorney, but the best and most determined in the whole county, who got me emergency custody of my kids. On October 8th, the judge granted us the emergency order, and that afternoon, after a 3-hour standoff with 4 police officers and the server at her apartment, I finally got to see my kids again. At the first hearing of the emergency orders, she showed up to court with one of her friends for moral support, but with no legal representation. I was backed up by a mountain of evidence of her being in contempt and by my family attorney. She got completely torn apart by the judge and my attorney. At the end, my attorney requested her psychological, medical, and financial records to understand her motives for hiding the kids, and the judge granted everything. It is my strong belief that the friend that was with her during the hearing is the person who introduced my ex to ayahuasca and toad poison, along with my ex's partner getting her into marijuana, THC, and cocaine. Just recently, I got her psychological records, and this is how I discovered everything about the ex-wife. How she found her partner having sexual relations with her best friend in her apartment, and this triggered a panic attack that led to withholding the kids. Why her partner left. Her after finding out that she did not keep the house, cars, or big money in the form of child support or alimony as they were planning, but not before spending all of her money from the marital house. How she wanted to make me mad to react badly, and get me in jail or get a restriction order. How her partner and her friend got her hooked on drugs, and now she is exploring drugs like ayahuasca, toad's poison, bufus, cocaine, marijuana, THC gummies, and vapes. How, to this day in July 2025, she has already spent 95% of the marital house proceeds, close to $70,000, since September 2024. How she was manipulating our kids to be afraid of me. I found out that she was thinking about ending our children's lives since 2019 because she saw our kids as an obstacle to being with her partner. This no longer makes me angry, but makes me feel sorry and pity for her. She gambled everything for a person who dropped her like a sack of rocks at the first chance. To this day, I am still waiting for trial, and I am pretty sure that I will keep 100% custody of the kids, due to my attorney requesting a hair follicle drug test and the mountain of evidence. But I know my kids need their mother in their lives. I recently got a plot of land for each one of my kids, and pretty soon I will close on a new house. But learning that my whole marriage was a lie, that while I was learning to love somebody's soul and accept their faults, the other person was talking badly about me, that the most beautiful moments in my life so far were tainted by a lie, making me doubt my own children's blood relation, has been very challenging, to the point that I do not want to get into a relationship with any other woman again. Stories like this are painful but eye-opening. What would you do if you uncovered years of betrayal after giving everything to your marriage? Share your thoughts and advice for anyone trying to rebuild their life after this kind of heartbreak.